So, this has been one of the most talked about verses or quoted, besides the Lord's Prayer. This has been one of the most quoted that I've heard of people justifying putting down other spiritual system or self-evolutionary systems where we know ourselves more and more. At some point, it's been misinterpreted that to know ourselves is a sin, or to know ourselves is something that is forbidden because, oh, when you knew knowledge, nothing was perfect anymore. That is the utopia, in essence, that we experience the higher in the dimensions that we go. We're at one of the lowest dimensions, the lowest densities. Like, this is a heavy experience. We are heavy individuals. We vibrate generally in our animalistic form very low. So, because of that, right, we seek to know ourselves, and we seek to have experience a higher, grander version of ourselves. Oftentimes those of us who um, who get that feeling, the intuition, that sensitivity, some of us are more sensitive than others, right? But we all have that lineage to the divine, which is ourselves. We are all just uh, we'll say holographic pieces of the same thing, that and we're pieces of a whole puzzle, right? However, that desire to experience that which is who we really are, it causes us to throw ourselves into the religions, and sometimes people get caught up in dogma. Sometimes people get caught up in just the physical way of looking at things, which is um, an illusion, right? It's not really the way that it is. It just looks like it here in this holographic universe, right? But we know ourselves to be greater, and Jesus, which is what I'm about to talk to you about. We're going to look at this a little different maybe than some of your pastors or people have shared or interpreted. And so work with me. You know, if there's things that you don't understand, then that's your journey to seek, to look for understanding, right? To seek your own connection. That's why my page is Unlock Your Inner Guru. I want you to connect to your being, to who you really are, right? That is, you might call God, Source, Great Spirit. You know, I often refer to the grand, omnipotent presence that we're all speaking of. I refer to as Great Spirit, like my ancestors, right? Um, Sometimes I say Creator. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's all a name. It's all a name. None of it is actually what is, because what is and the omnipotent cannot be explained in words, mere words, right? So Jesus knew that who he was. Hello. I'm doing a video right now. So, yes. Give me a moment, okay? Can you go downstairs with Daddy? I'll call you up here when I'm done with the video, okay? Thank you. Okay. So, Jesus said in John chapter 14, verse 6. Well, let me rewind it to chapter 14, verse 4. Where I go, you know, and the way you know. Where I go, you know, and the way you know. Let me start from the beginning, chapter 14, and then I'm going to break down each verse. Okay? This is what is coming to my spirit, right? Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Now, this is Jesus speaking, or Yeshua speaking, but we have not interpreted properly what he has said when he says, believe also in me. You believe in God, believe also in me. And it has the capital letter M. Believe in me because I am one with the Father. I am one with God, right? I am one with the Creator, right? And if I am one with the Creator, then if you believe in God, you believe in me, okay? In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. All right? Now, all of that is referring to, okay, the place in heaven, in the mind. This is on earth. Heaven is not a place that you get to. Heaven, what we're all trying to get to is that knowingness of self, that awareness of self, that peace of self, of being able to be aware of and conscious of what's happening, what's going on around us, so that we can make conscious choices. We're not robots and we're not AI, okay? We are not we are not mechanical beings. We can be, but we don't have to be, right? When we are, then our energy, right, is depleted in a sense of we can't really experience the true happiness. I mean, ignorance might be bliss, right? But how long can it be blissful if if your soul is calling you to experience that which is itself, but you keep believing the illusions of yourself, right? So he's saying, look, I will prepare a place for you, right? I will receive you if you're receptive. If I am God, right? If I am God, I am one with God, right? We are one. We are one in the same. I'm just literally like I said, a holographic. And I don't mean that literally, but that's the best metaphor I can use right now, is I'm a holographic representation of the divine, right? And the divine is omnipotent. The divine is all that there is and all that there isn't and everything in between and all that and nothing and everything. You know what I mean? Like, God is all of that. God is not this human that you've created in the image of you. God is grand. God is grand. You know what I mean? And so, with that being said, right, we have, when we are receptive, then we are receptive to ourselves. We are receptive to ourselves, right? So, the heaven that we experience, the bliss, the joy, the truth. You ever been around somebody that's just truthful, but they're not what is it called, malicious with it. They're not irresponsible with the truth. It's very rare that I have in the past encountered somebody that just represents truth. And when you're around somebody like that, it feels amazing. It feels blissful because you know it. Like, unless you're rejecting yourself, that's when you don't know. Then you experience triggers and you experience that divinity is something totally different. But when you know yourself, you know me, when you know me, when you know God, you know me. Me and God and I, we are one. We are the same. Yes, I am I am an expression of God. I am a holographic expression of the divine, of an expression of it. The divine is so vast that anything is possible. All is everything, right? Okay? So God is omnipotent. So the whole experience, everything that's been ever been created, everything that has ever happened, everything that ever will happen, has already happened and is happening right now. It's all it's a whole dichotomy of a mind fuck to be, just grand with it, just to be real. And to experience yourself as yourself, to experience God, your God self, is blissful. So to experience somebody that's experiencing their in the truth and living the truth, just speaking the truth, it feels good. It feels blissful if you're open to receive, but you have to have a heart that's open to receive yourself, right? If you deny any aspect of yourself, you deny the shadows, you deny yourself, like, you know, if you deny yourself, like Jesus told, what was it, Paul, that he would do? Right? I think it was Paul. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really good with these names all the time. But if you will deny me. That's just what's going to happen. You're going to deny who you are because you don't know yourself yet. You don't trust in yourself, right? You don't trust yet. Okay? But the more that you receive and open your heart up to creator, the more you open yourself up, Yahweh, source, to yourself, the more you open yourself up to yourself, the more you trust yourself. What happens in a relationship? You trust, you build trust. You build trust within yourself. So because we're coming in this 3D experience in the land of illusion, right? The lowest density, then we are not aware of ourselves yet because we descended in a sense. We descended from, so that's where the whole, oh man, that's where the whole Satan and the devil aspect comes from. Those are the low vibrations. You descended, it's the interpretation of it, but it's not quite accurate, the interpretation of it, but it is based on a truth of our existence. It's just been interpreted. It is very difficult to describe our experience. It's very difficult to describe what it is that we like, what this experience is. So leave it up to us who feel called to do this work. Yes, I feel you. Some people just, it's a lot to digest and to think about. So I want to try to bring this down as clear as possible, right? And I hope that what I'm saying is clear. And so we descend into this 3D reality because who we actually are is like, we are light beings. Like, we are actually out here, like, in other dimensions. We have greater powers. We can see more. Just in a few dimensions above this dimension, you can see everything. It's like it's you can see everything all at once, right? And you can actually exist in that dimension also while simultaneously existing in this dimension. That's a whole nother thing, right? But what I'm saying is that everything that we want to experience, the heaven that we want, is that oneness that Jesus recognized within himself, right? He recognized, I am the way, the truth, the light, because he about to say this in verse 6, right? Chapter 14, verse 6. So, but I want to rewind it before I dive into that one, when he said, and where I go, you know, and the way that you know. The way that you know. That means your own spiritual path, whatever way is feels called to you, that's the way, right? He's going his way, right? But his way is still God's way because it's the divine way. It's the knowing self way. It's the expression of who he truly is. This is him experiencing himself. So he's recognized that, hey, okay, this is my way, and through my way, yes, you may know me, but through God, you may know me because I am, right? And so, if you, when you know who I am and you know God, then the way that you go, you recognize that it is still a path to enlightenment. It is still a path to yourself. It is still a path to God. All paths lead back to you, really. That's a whole nother thing. But you will know what path for it is for you to follow. It's your way, but you know, right? So Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. And how can we know the way? So they're thinking 3D, very low, very, because they don't know, right? They don't know yet. They don't realize that they know. They know. They just don't know that they know. So they're thinking very mundane, 3D like. And he's like, nah, man, like, listen, I'm the way, the truth, and the light. And no one comes to the Father except through me. Christ consciousness, the Christ, me, through God. Not, he ain't saying like through me, Jesus the person. He's saying through the Holy Spirit. He's saying through the Spirit, you know me. That Christ, like when you know yourself, when you know me, me, me. Do you get it? Like not Jesus. Jesus is saying me. But me say the same thing, me, right? And you say the same thing, but you're not saying you're because you're referring to me. Me, I am God, me. Okay? I don't know if this is making any sense, but we're gonna keep going. So the no one comes through the Father. Now the Father, mother, father, that is a whole nother explanation dynamic, right? So the father, father cosmos, father creator, father creation, right? And mother, the darkness, the void in which the creator extended from, came from, was birthed through, right? So we are the manifestation of the that came from the divine feminine. Like we are that which, and it's all oneness, right? But this is the hierarchy, this is the order of things, and so things are being brought back into harmony and order. And so you may see more uh figures in women form coming out and expressing the divine, truth, right? So anyways, that's, but through me, okay? uh if you had known me, you would have known my Father also, and from now on you know him and have seen him. I am that expression. If you know my creator, if you know my Father, then you know me. Because I am, okay? I am God. I am, okay? Me. You also. This, you have to, this is the one of the beliefs, the really strongest beliefs that people, is just very hard for them to, me? No, like, no, that's up to, I can't do Jesus's work. That was some other, you don't have to do Jesus's work. You don't have to do it the way that he did it. He said you could go my way, but go your own way. Like, he literally, the way that you know, right? Because when you know God, you will know which path to follow. This is, you will know. It will be a knowingness. And he's laying it out like it's, but people are taking so literally. They think that he's talking about himself, and I get it because we haven't been taught to look at it that way. And so it's okay, but that's why we're here, right? That's why you watching this video, is to awaken something. You came here for a reason. So Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is sufficient for us. They still thinking in 3D terms. They're still thinking in the most they're not even here. They're not up here with Jesus is. Jesus is like, he like, man, okay, look, all right. Have I been with you so long and yet you have not known me? Philip? Philip. He who has seen me has seen the Father. So how can you say, show us the Father? I just told you. If you know the Father, you know me. If you know me, you know the Father. Like, we are one. I am. And through me, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I just showed you the way. I am an expression of God. And so are you. You are too. He said this too, okay? Let's not pick and choose. Let's look at it all, right? And just look at it and change your perspective. It's just a change of perspective. That's it. That's it. That's all. Okay? So, do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father in me? Right? The creator, the source, I am, right? That which is in me. I am. I'm the source of which I came from, which I descended from, right? Is me. I am the ancestor that I have been waiting on. You are the ancestor that you have been waiting on. I am. We are one. Okay? And everything that has ever happened is happening. It's happening right now. It's all. It's it's everything, and it's going to get easier and easier to wrap your mind around this, so you can get past this and get to the bliss, right? Get out of the intellectual trying to figure it out and get a relationship. That's why I say unlock your inner guru. Get your relationship. Know your way. Okay, so the words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does the works. Listen, this ain't for me. This ain't me. This is this ain't my ego talking to you. This is not me. This is not my 3D self, this physical vessel that you see. This is God. This is the grand, this is the omnipotent speaking through me. This is the divine will. This is the divine way. And what I'm expressing to you is of the divine, right? This is the way, this is the modern perception that's necessary for us to get to the next evolution of self, so that we can experience more of ourselves as who we really are, the divine, right? Everything around us, we'll begin to see how everything around us is actually divine, and we'll stop demonizing things that we can't necessarily understand, because then we realize, oh, that is me too, but that's just a different version of me. That's a different holographic image of me. That is but I know who I am. I know me. I know God. So therefore, that which I know it. I can recognize you, right? And I also know that I have this in me, that the capacity, that God is the capacity to be everything and all things all at once, right? So if the capacity is there, then what? That's me. That is me too. So I know, though I am not expressing the me in that way, that being is expressing it, which is also me, because we're one. We're all one, right? I have the capacity to be that. So therefore, now I have compassion. Now I have understanding. Now my ego is in check. I'm aware of those thoughts that are not of the truth of me, right? These are lies. These are conditions that people have placed on us, right? So when I look at that thing, when I look at you, right, and I say, you are me. We are one. Okay? That is all. That is what is. That's what will always be. That is what is right now. We are one. We are, through me, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am. So are you. That is see you, right? But you will find this blasphemous and you will be put off by this if you don't, if you can't let go of the belief that we're separate. That is the biggest lie that humans have been told, is that we are separate, right? That is why we experience so much suffering, because we think that we're separate. Anyways, back to this. So believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me, or else believe me for the sake of the works themselves. So let my works and what you see and what you experience of me. Remember I said when you're around somebody that expresses the truth, it's a good feeling. It ain't no, unless you have not accepted, unless you are not receptive to the divine, right? If you're not receptive to yourself, then you won't be receptive to that experience, right? So you may not have that experience, right? But when you are receptive, then you will experience the works and you'll see what the works are. This is the works right here, right? Again, I am not speaking on my own authority, okay? Right? I'm allowing the divine to speak through me. And so this is where I am translating this to you. I'm just the translator. I am literally the person who is doing the sign language, trying to find the best ways of expressing this to you as the divine speaks through me, trying to expand my vocabulary by reading and doing things like that so that I can bring the message to you even more clear. Okay? So I am, let the works be a representation if you don't necessarily know, but you feel, right? So let's see. Assuredly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he will do also, and greater works than these he will do, because I go to my Father, right? I return home. I go, I am. And so because I am that representation, so are you, right? He's telling you that you will do greater works, okay? He's telling you that, listen, people have literally ignored this. People have said, like, he came, ain't nobody gonna be greater. Ain't nobody he gonna come back and da 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 da. He came back, he already back. He been back over and over again. But because you don't recognize and you don't know God, you haven't recognized. You haven't recognized the different forms. You have denied reincarnation. You don't believe in that because your forefathers of your religion have told you otherwise, right? There's a reason I came through a Christian portal. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I came through here, is because so that I can have this foundation to be able to express it and shift the perception, because what we have here is truth. However, it's not perceived the way it needs to be perceived. A lot of this is metaphorical. Some of these people, they represent something else. They represent stars. There are different things. They represent energy centers. They represent archetypes. They represent these things, but these archetypes are real. Like, they're playing out in front of us. So let it be clear that even if it's metaphorical, the mental, that what we have in our mind expresses itself outwardly through the characters and the people that we have surrounding us. That's why if somebody getting on your nerves, or if whatever, you have a judgment, that's a reflection on you, because we are one. Okay? You got to remember that. Just that will get us to a different awareness of that's closer to who we are. Okay? So then he said, whatever you ask in my name, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. I mean, I am an expression. And so if I am an expression of the Father which is in me, we are one, I am an expression of. So as long as it praises and glorifies who I am, then yes, these works, we can do it. We can work together. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it. I will, yes, what do you need? Okay? What can we do? Because the divine the divine wants us to experience our full selves, right? That's this whole thing, this whole creation of experience is everything all at one time of the divine experiencing its omnipotent self. And even if we just say an energy, a great energy, great spirit is experiencing all aspects of itself in different energetic forms. We're all made of the same stuff, you know? So if you love me, you will keep my commandments. This is the commandments is if you love yourself, if you love God, if you love me, like this is Jesus knows who he knew. Yeshua knew who he was. He knows who he is. He is the Father. He is the Mother. He is the Son. He's the Holy Spirit. He is all. He is you. He is me. We are all one. Okay? So because of this, right? If you love it, you won't want to kill. You won't want to do these things that people are doing. These commandments, like you won't need to covet somebody. You won't need to be jealous. You won't need to do none of that because it won't even come up in you in a sense of like that's something that you're strongly desired to feel or do because as you know yourself, that's a part of me. You pray like, you know what? Congratulations, man. Congratulations. I am genuinely happy for you. I want to see you win. You know what I'm saying? There's not one person in this world that, even in the past, that has hurt me. Now, I can say this. I couldn't say this before, but now I can say this. I wish no harm on anyone. I actually wish bliss on all of you. Everyone who's ever hurt me, I want them to experience their divine self so that they no longer have to feel that they need to hurt other people, right? But not even just so that, but so they can know themselves. And the more that we know ourselves, the more divine all of our experiences are. So until all of us can know ourselves, then we need people, the vessels like us that want to know ourselves, that are on that path, not even want that are just called to that path. That's the path that we chose, right? So we're awakening each other so that we can we want you to have this grand experience. We want you to experience yourself, but we don't want it more for you than you want for you. And when you realize that you are me and I am you and we're one, then what you want and what I want is one and the same. What God wants and what you want is one and the same. It's all one. So the divine way is the way. The way, your way that you know is the way, right? So it's not saying like we gotta believe in, you know what I'm saying? It's not saying you got to, this is the only, no. But it's okay to honor, okay? It's okay to honor this being that walk, but know that you also are an expression of the divine. You don't have to be like Jesus. You be like you. You go your way that you know, as it says in John 14, 4. Alright, so anyways, I'm running out of time on here. And I mean, really, we at the end of my message. I can read on a little more, but I feel like the point has been made.